Hello, Mr. Chu here with Trey Arithmetic. We're going to talk about the perimeter of triangles today. So before I get started, I am trying to help students learn arithmetic in a different way. I also have a curriculum called Bare Algebra where I'm teaching algebra through videos. So make sure you subscribe to me on my YouTube channel. Make sure you follow me on TikTok or Instagram, whichever one you're watching me on at this time. So when we define the perimeter of a triangle, the perimeter of a triangle is just the distance around. This would be like if you're building a fence. That would be perimeter. So the formula for perimeter would be adding up the length of all three sides. So it's going to be side plus side plus side. I always use a lowercase s because when I do that, it looks like a 5. That is just an information thing. All right, so let's look at an example. Example 1. Of the perimeter of a triangle. We draw our triangle and then we list what each side is. So in this case, I have a length of 12 meters on this side. I have a length of 20 meters. I know it may not be drawn to scale on this side. And then 16 meters on this side. So if I want to start and build a fence and go all the way around, I'm going to be taking the 12 and the 20 and the 16 and adding them together. It is that simple. Using the formula to write the equation, I'm going to have side plus side plus side. Now these are all different, so I can't say 3 times side. So I could say this is S sub 1, S sub 2, S sub 3, but that starts to get a little more complicated. Let's just take and add the sides up. I said we started here and we went up 12 meters plus 20 meters plus 16 meters. So anytime that you're adding like units, I can take the numbers and say I'm going to add those up, and I know they're all going to be that same unit of measure. So 12 plus 20 is 32. Using the order of operations, so that's 48 meters, which is the total distance around. So if I go to Menards and I want to buy 10-foot sections to build that fence, I know that I would have to buy 5 sections, and then we would have 2 feet of leftover waste so that if we had our cuts off just a little bit, we could maybe fix it. All right, so that was example 1. Example 2 is a little bit harder because we want you to understand that when you're dealing with triangles, there are different types of triangles that sometimes will affect the way that your problem is worked. So, this is example 2 of the perimeter of triangles. So I'm told that this side length up here is 18 feet. I am also told that it is an isosceles triangle. Well, what does that mean? It means it's going to have 2 sides that have the same length. Now, being a geometry teacher in high school, because I was a geometry teacher, we would take and mark these with tallies, with little tally marks, to say that those 2 are the same length. They told us that the perimeter is 58 feet. All right, so how do I find out what these other 2 lengths are? I use my formula and then solve it. So my formula is the perimeter is a side plus a side plus a side, right? That's what we're doing. We're adding them up. Now I can substitute my 58 feet in this parentheses for P. I know what this top side is, 18 feet. But I don't know what this side is or this side is, but I know they're the same. So if I would be doing the subs that I said it gets a little complicated, I could have done it like that because I know that those two are going to be the same. I don't have to do that. I'm just showing you that that's the way I would have done it in a more complicated way. But S plus S is 2S. Now this is a two-step equation. So I have 58 feet equals 18 feet plus 2s. There's my variable. I'm going to solve for it. And I need to always make my t's with the little curls so they don't look like the plus sign. Just need to get in the habit of always doing that. So how do I solve this? Well, I need to get the 2s by itself. So I do the inverse or opposite of adding 18 feet. This is basic algebra that I teach in bare algebra. So I subtract 18 feet from the right using the subtraction property of equality. That's what it's called whenever you're listing these in algebraic proofs and geometry. I would always teach my students in my pre-algebra class I used to teach. This crosses out because it's an inverse. There, it's a 0 here. And then 0 plus 2s will give me my 2s. Then I have to take 58 feet minus 18 feet. And that equals 40 feet. And that equals 2s. I don't want to know what 2s's are. I want to know what 1s is. So now I use my last inverse operation of what do you do to get rid of multiplying the s by 2? You do its inverse. That is divide. So I'm going to take on the left and divide by 2. On the right, divide by 2 because I have to do the same thing to the left and the right. Remember what I said I did to my pre-algebra students? I wanted them to show that I had an inverse that crossed out here. This is gone and this is gone. What does that mean? 2 over 2 is 1. And 1 times s is s. And so this is going to give me the side length, which is what I want. And then 40 divided by 2 is 20. And the unit is feet. So this will be a 20-foot side here. And this will be a 20-foot side here. And now we have our dimensions. And the units will always be to the first power. That's why it's just feet to the first power. Make sure if you're struggling with math and you want to see a different way to understand it, follow me on TikTok and Instagram. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you're watching this on YouTube, there'll be a subscription link over here. If you're not, then make sure if you're on TikTok watching it, make sure you follow me. Subscribe, follow, and learn Trey Arithmetic. I'm Mr. Chew, and I want to teach you in a different way. Stay tuned, and we'll learn some math. Have a good one.